What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the pit.
So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to take 275 for 3 sets of 5, or at least we're going to try to. That's not what this video is going to be about. All right, this doesn't have to be a really long video, okay? Because I'm just going to be talking about dealing with nerve damage in your hands, weakness in your wrists, you know, little injuries from pretty much here up, and how you go about continuing your training while allowing them enough time and enough of an advantageous situation to actually heal through your training. Okay? Sometimes there's just not a damn thing you can do about it. You're just going to have to stop training for a while. You know, go in there and try to find some exercises that don't put any pressure on your hand. You might have to get a little creative to do that. But you can figure out ways around certain things if you're smart. Like if your hands are hurting but you want to work your chest, we'll go get on a pec deck or something like that. If your back's giving you some trouble but you really need to work your legs, we'll go get on the leg press machine. You get what I'm saying? All right, so let's move on. Well, what I've got going on is I've got some nerve damage in my hand here. Okay, it just tingles pretty much from the center of my hand on up through my fingers. Sometimes they'll lock up. I've had that before. It's just trigger finger, and of course it's probably carpal tunnel and all that kind of stuff. But I've done pretty good by just letting it rest in the past, and it kind of heals up on its own. I don't aggravate it as much. Well, with this training, you know, I'm in the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm going to train. So what do? Do you just keep pushing on through? It seems to have reached its pinnacle of damage. It doesn't seem to be getting any worse, but it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So what we're going to concentrate on today is using an open palm technique where you don't wrap your thumbs, which I only recommend under certain circumstances, this being one of those circumstances. Now, I've seen people bench press like that right there. I've seen people, bench 350, 400 pounds using that kind of technique. I've also seen it slip out of somebody's hands and 315 pounds come crashing down on their chest. You know, you take that risk. Frankly, I think it's a more comfortable way to bench and lift in general. I really do. It seems like you can put way more pressure across your palm and straight on to your wrist and forearm, which is really where you want that pressure to be. When you put that bar in your hand and that bar brings your hand back that way, it's really putting it in a bad spot. You know, you can really cause some damage like that. That's why when you put it in your hand, you want to keep your wrist as straight as possible. That way, it's straight down. That way, the weight is straight down your bone. Sometimes it can get a little forward and slip out, but that's a really big if, and doesn't happen very often if you keep your thumb closed. But today, we're not going to do that. Today, we're going to be pressing like this. All right? Probably even have our hands turned a little bit like this, and help alleviate some of that pressure that I get with my thumb wrapped around the bar. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. Normally, when I grip a bar, bench press, shoulder press, so on and so forth, I won't just come in here and grip it straight on. All right, I'll grip it sideways. Then I'll bring my elbow out, especially on shoulder press, and I'll grind it in, straightening my wrist, locking it in on that bar. And I have quite a bit of pressure running down this side. Not so much here, okay? And then I'll lift it that way, come up, all right? By locking my wrist under there, putting quite a bit of pressure on this part of your wrist, on the flexion part of your thumb, where it comes down and adjoins with the other part of your fingers and your wrist. It may not do that to you, but it does it to me, okay? It hurts a little bit. It doesn't feel as comfortable. But for the advantage of safety, locking your thumb around the bar, I mean, you can't really argue with that. It's really a no-brainer. But it's causing me some problems here. So what do? Well, I got to alleviate those problems. So I'm going to try to solve the problem with this technique. Like I said, normally I come in sideways, lock my arms in like this. Today, I'm gonna come in, do everything exactly the same, except I'm going to leave my thumbs on the outside of the bar. Just like that. You see how they're folding my wrist back? I'm gonna roll my wrist forward just a little bit. See that? See that? What I've done is create a circumstance to where the bar is actually resting more directly over this part of my hand instead of me rolling this thumb out and having it pressed down really hard because my thumb's wrapped around the bar. Naturally, if you grip it like that, this is going to be more even, see? But if I roll my thumb up, see how it lifts it up? You've got quite a bit of weight pushing down on that, and that can be a fragile joint. And in my case, it's caused some nerve discomfort. So let's go through this workout and see if it makes a difference. To let you in on a little secret, it's gonna work. I'll show you. Let's go. All right, let's see how set one feels. When you get that close to your max, nailing your technique is everything. Because even being a little off balance means you can dump it. Feels a little better maybe. With that kind of weight, I'm not sure if it don't just compress everything into numbness. But we'll see. Let's move forward. The worst part of this exercise for me is the compression of my elbows when I first start to lift it. The tension that builds because this part of my arm and that part of my arm are bent with so much pressure, it kills my elbows. Missed it. Well, as you can see, I didn't make that fifth rep. I gave it 2 attempts. It could just be a lack of strength. I doubt it. I'm not saying that arrogantly because I prepared for this moment. More than likely, it's fatigue on this elbow. This one particularly, both of them, but this one particularly. And more than likely, just overall systemic fatigue. I've been pushing myself really hard for 3 months. This is a 12-week program, and I'm in week 10. Next week is a deload week. And honestly, I'm more than likely going to forego the deload week. And I know I can hear some people, no, that's part of your program. Listen, if it wasn't for these injuries, then I would probably keep going. But I'm not going to come in here the week after next with lingering injuries and push myself with more weight than I've ever lifted in my life. You know, they're sticking to the program, and then there's just being a damn idiot. So I'm going to try to hammer out one more set. If I get 5, I get 5. If I don't, I don't. Hey, that's okay. And then I'm going to shut it down for a week. Come in here, I go over at my brother's, and start trying to hammer out some PRs. And I hope you tune in for that. So let's go get this last set and see what we got in the tank. Let's go. Alright, we're just gonna have to back up and punt. I've given it all I can, but this friggin' pain, it's just too much. You know, it settles down after a few minutes after each set. But I ain't gonna put myself through this much pain. Oh, not if I don't have to. Especially when I know it's not gonna make any perceivable difference in my new PR if I do set one the week after next. It's just not. You know, 2 or 3 reps on your last workout is really not going to affect all the progress you've made over 12 weeks. And if you injure yourself further, then you've just undone 12 weeks. So sometimes you just have to pick and choose. And I'm making an executive decision right now. And really that just plays right into the theme of this video. You know, when you feel yourself creeping into the realm of real injury, not just discomfort, don't be stupid. Just stop. You know, this is a friggin' journey. You know what I mean? I know that cliche has been overused lately. Every time you turn on Facebook, there's some middle-aged man or woman preaching that shit to you constantly. You know, with a friggin' unicorn running through the field, like some glorified douche commercial or something. But the wisdom behind it is sound. You want to keep doing this stuff into your old age, you know, so your old age is manageable and you'll live longer and healthier. But you can't do that if you're going to be stupid and accumulate a lot of injuries just out of pride. Just because there's some arbitrary number out there that you want to lift because you want to lift it, when if you think about it this way, if I stop now, let this elbow rest, set my PR, and maybe it's 5 pounds less than it would have been. All right, well, in 3 months of working out, shit, I'm going to be that 5 pounds plus more stronger anyway. And what does it matter? What's 3 months? What's 6 months? What's an additional year of training? You got to live every day, you know, and you're going to feel it with your training. You want to feel it with painful training because of some injury that you didn't allow to heal? Man, I don't. You know, I've been there. I've done that. There's no reason to do it. So don't you do it. That being said, I appreciate you tuning in. I hope this helps. And remember,
Get your ass in the pit.